It feels like a dick in the mouth.
Yeah, these are new mics. We're celebrating new mics on the show. Now we have dicks. We have dick mics. And
we're well versed. Okay. You have a phone
I've
on
never
the
sucked a dick. Oh, wait.
It's never too late. What's that phone over there, Brett?
Okay, well, it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
However, I didn't really know, because for Father's Day, we didn't celebrate Father's Day at all.
We do not have human children. We have 2 dogs.
We have dog children, but we take the parenting of our dogs very seriously.
Look, I don't have a human child, but I don't know how much more seriously I could take that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of people who have talked about this dilemma, but none as interesting as we are about to talk about it.
So what's the dilemma?
But I just didn't know, and so then I was like, oh shit, I should have gotten you flowers.
Okay.
On any other holiday, it's never a question, right? I always come through with the gifts, the flowers,
You're a great gift giver.
Yeah. So I went to this flower shop and they're like, oh, we'll have you the flowers in 2 hours.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, fine. It's not ideal, but I get it. I'm doing this last minute. And it's been 4 hours. And they said that they were going to text me. And then, the guy gave me a different story when I was in there. He's like, oh, no, we'll have it done in a couple hours. And then I called and he was like, it's a big pet peeve of mine?
Yes.
When people pretend that they didn't tell you something that they told you before. And when you contest them on that, then they treat you like an asshole.
Okay.
So I call the guy. I'm like, hey, I haven't even gotten, because they said they were going to text me a picture of the arrangement to make sure I was feeling good about it. I'm like, I haven't even gotten that, and it's been 3 hours. I shouldn't be telling you this, though.
Don't care.
Because it's your gift.
I'm
doing it because I feel guilty that it's not here yet.
I don't care that you're telling me this. It's not a big deal to me at all.
Anyway.
I saw one of our friends.
That's why the phone's here, in case they text me and they got the flowers coming here.
Sounds great, baby. It's very sweet of you. You didn't have to do that.
Yes, I did. You deserve it. You're an incredible mother to our fuzzy children.
Thank you. I opened the sosh meed this morning, and do you like how I just called it the sosh meed?
Yeah, are you the only? Does anybody else call it that?
I don't know. I like
it. Did you just make that up?
I don't know, but I like it.
The sosh meed. That's very like Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I'm
like the sosh meed.
Oh my God, Pauly Shore
for the whistle. Nobody will know what
Pauly Shore slid into my DMs a few years ago.
I remember that.
It was like when you and I just started dating. Shout out to Pauly Shore.
That's a
you
big
still
slut.
Interested or?
Oh.
That was such a moment for me as an adult, because I was such a fan. I mean, if I told you that I watched Encino Man 500 times, that probably wouldn't be an exaggeration.
Right, of course. That
was like the movie of my childhood.
Yeah.
So having Pauly Shore slide into my DMs was pretty fun.
I mean,
he said, I don't remember it, what he said, but felt not that coherent. So.
Hey, all respect to Pauly Shore. I'm sure
Shore.
It's hard. It's hard being a human in the world.
He may have been half asleep. We'll give him.
He might have been drunk. Who
knows?
Sometimes you're looking at that IG, you see a
babe.
beautiful woman, and you're a little toasted, and you seeing a little double while you're writing her.
It's fine. Lots of love to Pauly Shore.
Lots of mad respect. I mean, you know parents are legends.
You know who else slid into my DMs once?
Who?
Chris Kattan.
Wow.
I know, it was quite an era for me.
It's a real and you're married to me.
Yeah.
Like you got a lot of guys. Well, yeah, there's other comedians too.
The old boys like me.
The old boys.
And you know what? I like the old boys. I like the young boys too.
You like boys.
I like the lady. You know what? I like the ladies too.
You like the ladies. Not as much as the boys, though, I don't think.
No, not as much as the boys.
Well,
I did. Wish I did.
You wish you did?
Yeah.
Why? At this point?
No, not in before.
So you could have had more experiences
more
with women?
Just more options.
Do you think that you could have ended up with a woman?
Yeah, I think so.
Like married?
I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Probably. I have to be really into her.
That's interesting. I always thought that like
She'd have to be butch, no, for sure, butch.
Really?
She'd have to be like sort of man. You know what? Me and my brother are always
like me. I'm kind of like a
yeah. You're like a femme.
I'm a butch lesbian.
You're a butch lesbian.
Yeah, but my interests are gay.
Yeah, which is like
gay
the perfect match for me, truly.
But I guess I've got some lesbian interests, right? Lesbians like heavy metal or no? Is it not their thing? That's just
I don't know. That's such a stereotype.
Straight guys. I know this is awful.
Well, I will say,
but really, you would wind up with a woman.
I think anything's
I'm not saying
possible.
that you wouldn't like get into like long romances with them. It's just like I always thought that you always communicated that is not something that would be for you, and it's fine if it is.
I don't think I like really
questions.
explored that enough to know, but I think that anything's possible. I could, I think that your sexuality is very fluid. So
me too.
Different times in your life, you're more attracted to something. I don't know. I think it's also just the specific person.
No, I definitely I think I'm a bit surprised I never went through a period where I dated men.
I'm
or
surprised
was having
too.
sex with men.
And do you know what? A lot of my gay friends are surprised at that as well.
Really?
Yeah, are you sure Brett's not gay a little bit? I'm like, no, I think he is a little bit gay.
What if I was gay? What if I'm gay?
Then you're with the closest thing you'll find to a gay man.
No, I mean, well, yeah, I guess you are.
At least my
the
sense of
closest
humor.
thing. I mean, I guess we're both the closest thing that either could find to a gay man other than being a gay man.
Yeah.
Right? I'm the closest thing that you could find to a gay man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if
they won't have me, the gay men. They don't want me, unfortunately. So this is what I had to end up with.
Wow. Holy shit. Just like, I'm waiting for flowers here. And you're like, I wish that you were. Would you have gotten into a serious relationship with with a gay man? And like, he was like, there's something about you. Like, you're the only woman I've ever been with. But there's something about you.
They like having sex with me?
And yeah. Like,
then I'd have no problem with that. If they want to have sex with me, that's what matters.
What if you?
But you're saying like, what if like down the road, I'm not going to be able to fulfill them, and then the potential.
Would that be a concern? Would that be a worry?
Well, I guess that could happen in this relationship. That could happen with any relationship.
That's true.
You could get sick of me and want to fuck another woman, man. Who knows? Dog, who knows?
Do you ever get sick of me? Like, do you ever get like afraid that you're getting sick of me or that you'll be sick of me soon?
No.
Really?
I mean, you annoy me sometimes, but I'm not getting sick of you in like in a macro way.
Because that's a major fear of mine, that I become like old hat to you.
I know that's a fear of yours. You tell me that every day.
Every day?
Every other day.
I mean, a lot. I do tell you that.
What am I, old hat?
I want to make sure.
What am I? What is this, old hat?
Is that even? That's the correct expression, right?
I don't know,
old
but
hat?
it's so annoying. But the first time you said it, I thought you said old hag, which I liked better.
Old hag is more apropos.
Yeah.
Because you never wear hats.
Never. I always buy hats that I think will look cool, and then I buy them, I take them home with me, and then I put them on my head, and it makes my head look small. Or like, because I have such big hair, and so then it like, I'm so used to like my hair framing my face. Then now I've got this thing, and it makes me feel like I look like a semicolon or something.
I think you look up any hats that like Cher could wear, any hats that Sophia Loren could wear, you could wear.
I think
you could rock a baseball hat too with like flowy.
I've tried so many hats. I just like every time I put them on, I'm like, no. I mean, I love like a big wide brim hat.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Next to a pool, it's like my divorcee era. I don't know, but
whoa, right to the divorcee.
No, but that's what you always
like
see.
2 seconds after we're talking about old hag.
I always associate divorcees with big brimmed hats.
Yeah, no,
Rich
but that
divorcees.
like you rock that. You could rock a hat that the brim isn't so big too.
We'll try it this summer.
No, we won't.
Should I tell the story about my dad?
Oh yeah.
We were hanging out with my.
We were playing that game.
No, there was.
Is it a game?
It's not
or
a game.
Like a trend on TikTok.
My younger brother made me aware of a trend on the sosh meed right now. I don't know if it's TikTok or
sosh meed.
TikTok or Instagram, but it's called Guess My Fart. wherein you are, if you feel a fart coming on, why is fart humor so fun? I don't know. I'm already laughing.
Because it's crazy that we do that. Like, it's crazy that, like, out of the hole that we shit out of, it makes a really
like a funny
sound.
Okay,
and it
so
stinks. like
it's
shit.
It's
shit air. But, like, it's really funny while it's coming out.
I just
It just, like, that's one of those that, like, farts is like, there's a God. Like,
with a great sense of humor.
Someone decided that.
So he was telling me about this trend that's going on called Guess My Fart, and you're with somebody, a friend or spouse or sibling or whatever, and you feel a fart coming on, so you go, hey, guess my fart, and the person has to make the sound that they think your fart's going to sound like. And if they get it right, they win the game. So, like, it would go like this. Hey, babe, guess my fart.
And then I make the sound that I think
so make it, hey, guess my fart. And then my fart would come out, and it would either sound like that or another sound. I don't know. And then, okay, so that's how the game goes. So my brother's explaining to me this game.
It's not a game, though. It's just like, that's it.
Whatever,
and
that's the
done,
game.
Right?
It's done.
It's a trend.
Okay, so I thought this trend was hilarious. Since I don't fart, because I've never farted in my life, but I wanted to do the TikTok trend. So I said, hey, babe, guess my fart. And then I made my brother, like, pretend to do my fart. It was obvious that it wasn't real because he was unclear on the other side of the room. So we just scrapped the video. But while we're doing this stupid thing, my uncle goes, hey, do you remember your dad at the airport story? And I was like, oh my God, how did I forget this story? It's one of the best stories of my father of all time. So my dad, I'm so sorry that I'm telling this story. Please forgive me. I'm sure he's going to get mad at me about this. It's just such a good story. I can't not. So he's at the airport. I believe he's with my older brother. I wasn't there for this, but when we got the story, my slowly unzipping.
You're welcome.
So I think it was either my uncle.
World.
It was either my uncle or my older brother who was with him. Don't remember. But the story goes like this. He is at the airport. They're sitting at, waiting for their flight, surrounded by tons of people, and he really has to fart. And he was having some loud farts. I guess something he ate upset his stomach. So he was doing loud farts, and he knew that it was going to be loud. So he wanted to mask the fart. So he thought up this great plan that he's going to hit the table simultaneously while he's farting to mask the sound of the fart. However, he didn't time it perfectly. So it ended up being like this. So he smacked the table. Everybody looked at him, and then he farted. So he just called all the attention to the fart instead of masking.
Why do you think?
Which I wonder what everybody around him was thinking. Like, did this man seriously just call all of our attention to hear it like it was a show? Like he was performing.
He got the whole room in the know.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Why
fucking funny.
Why not like cough or something like that? Something that I feel, or just like, or why was the timing off? How did he not know the timing? Like, don't you know the timing? Maybe I haven't experimented with that.
We should try this.
Because
it's so funny. It's just so fucking funny.
How do you not
to me.
know, like, okay, it's happening now and you got it and you did it and it's not off? How is it ever off?
Maybe
because he had like anxiety over it, and like the anxiety fucked up the timing with the hitting of the table.
So incredibly funny, and I so wish I had been there for that. I would have lost time. And then I think whoever was with him, either my uncle or brother, whoever was with him, was laughing so hard. So it just made it so much worse.
Okay, so what would you rather be there for? That moment or the signing of the Declaration of Independence?
The fart, 100%.
Yeah.
Because nobody showered during that time anyway, so it would have been a real big bummer of a time.
Did they not shower them too? Did they not bathe?
What year was that? Wow, I sound so stupid.
It was, what year was, oh, fuck. I mean, in the independence
We're
was July 4th,
big
1776.
Big history buffs.
But what date was the Declaration of Independence signed?
I don't know. Do you know?
Shit, I don't know.
July 4th.
Oh, it was signed on the day of American independence. All right, that makes sense.
Good job.
Because it's the Declaration of Independence.
God, we're so
So
stupid.
it makes sense that would be declared the day it was declared. That makes sense. Wow. It's Sunday, everyone. We're sorry.
Okay, do you want to talk about all the times you've shit your pants as an adult?
I was just going to bring that up, actually.
Welcome to the conversation. We first started dating just a few months before this happened. We were very much in the very, very early stages of our relationship. And Brett was going to Chicago to visit his family and invited me to come with him to meet his family. So I went with him to Chicago, and his mother went to go stay with his sister so that we could have our apartment. We're staying at her apartment. We go out to dinner. Well, we arrive in Chicago. We ate. This is the last time I ate gazpacho because I'm convinced it was the gazpacho. However, it could have been, I think it was the gazpacho.
But did I eat the gazpacho?
Yeah, we both did. We were starving.
I had like a bite of the gazpacho. Though.
Well, maybe.
Is that enough?
Or we also went to, we had this gazpacho, and then we went to dinner with his cousin to a seafood restaurant. So it could have it may have been
the seafood.
Yeah, it makes sense. It could have been the seafood. It was more likely the seafood, I guess. So
it's just the seafood was more enjoyable than
the gazpacho.
the disgusting gazpacho.
I hate gazpacho. It's just that should
it's
not
just
be a
cold
dish.
tomato juice.
It should not be a dish.
I'm sure there are people who make a great gazpacho.
I've had great gazpacho, and I still didn't like it.
Mexico, you're gonna have some great
so,
gazpacho in like Mexico City at like a really great restaurant.
Right, you're not getting great gazpacho from a Jewish deli.
No.
Okay,
Jews cannot
make
gazpacho.
So we go to dinner with his cousin. We get back from the dinner. I'm like, oh fuck, something's not right, and I'm like on the verge of vomiting, and I was like,
you made yourself.
No, I know. So I'm like feeling really sick, and I said, you know what, like I'm just gonna do this because I don't want to suffer all night.
And when you were doing that, I thought that was crazy.
You thought I was insane.
Like, why would you make yourself throw
So
up?
I did the fingers down the throat, and I just puked it all up, and I was like, okay, I'm good now. I went to sleep. Like I knew that there was something wrong with something that we ate. So I threw it up. I went to bed. I don't make a habit of this. Don't worry. I'm fine. Okay. I go to bed. I wake up and I'm like, don't feel 100%, but I definitely feel better than I guess Brett did because I wake up and he's not in the bed. And I was like, babe? And then he goes, don't move. I was like, what's going on? And he comes out of the bathroom and he points to the bed and he had shit the bed. And I thought to myself, why would you leave? What if I had rolled into the shit? Like, why did you leave me in the bed without covering it, without like unraveling or just waking me up?
An emergency. What gets squirted into the bed isn't the full butt load. There's more that needs to come out. That's coming out like momentarily.
So was it a fart?
I'm also being woken up from sleep, so I'm not totally with it.
But can you imagine like that early on in our relationship rolling into your new boyfriend's shit? Do you know how traumatic that would have been?
It would have been bad, but it's almost just as bad if you were judgy towards something like that to know that I had just sharded the bed.
True.
And yeah, I mean, I woke up with a fart and I felt the duty coming out of my ass.
Yeah.
In a liquidy way.
Yeah.
It's not the first time that's happened to me. That's not the first time that I've like shit the bed in that way. Because I sleep naked, you know? I don't like any clothing on usually. Sometimes
when did that happen? When did you start sleeping naked?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes I wear underwear, and sometimes I'll rock a pajama because it's like kind of fun, but that's really uncomfortable. At a certain point, I feel very constricted, and these days I even feel really constricted.
I love
by
sleeping
underwear.
with a cozy jammy.
I know you like the jammies, and I'm nude.
I love a cozy. I feel
And-
too exposed, naked, sleeping naked.
Yeah.
I like a cozy
You feel
jam.
like the Sandman's gonna come and like
Yeah.
grab your titties.
Fiddle me.
I think I started sleeping naked. Like I think I was a teenager by the time that started happening.
Okay.
I think so. But I might have like slept with some clothes on for fear that like my parents were going to come in and wake me up and see me naked. But at the same time, it's not like I think that they would have known though at some point that I was sleeping naked. And then, you know, because I would have said like, don't pull the covers off of me if you come and wake me up and I'm late. I'm oversleeping for school because.
Your parents would rip the blanket off of you?
No, not really.
My dad used to do that. My dad was the most offensive waker-upper on the face of this earth. Knock on the door and, okay, it's school time. And it would be like a little bit like, that's not what I want to hear first thing in the morning, like aggressive, it's school time, you know?
Yeah.
And then it kind of progressed to if we didn't like get out of bed, then he'd come back like 10 minutes later and he would go, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And he'd start opening the curtains and rip the blanket off of you.
Yeah.
And I would lose my fucking...
Like Mr. Rogers from hell.
Mr. Rogers, I would lose my fucking mind. The minute he would start singing and opening the curtains and pulling the blanket off, I was like, it was the worst way to wake up. I would be fuming. I'd have the worst day after.
Yeah. I think though, I think like my mother or my father, I think my mother usually woke me up, would like pull the shade up.
It's just so dickish.
But in their defense though,
It's like
we're not getting up.
yeah, it's true.
We don't want to get up. We don't want to go to school.
I know. It's so fucking
the
early.
idea of going to school, I'm so glad. I don't understand people who are like, oh, I miss school. I want
Never.
to punch those people
Never.
in the face. I just am
I
like,
hated school. I always hated school.
how do you miss school?
I know.
As hard as being an adult can be at times, and as much as you got to take on, none of that compares
To the hell of
school.
school. Truly. I hated
Having
school.
to wake up.
I hated school. I always hated school.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like waking up and going to we're lucky we love our jobs.
Yeah.
Waking up and going to a really fucking shitty job,
Yeah.
that's got to be worse than school.
I had
Or
jobs
just
like
as
that.
bad. Yeah, I like had to wake up for jobs too that I
Yeah.
hated. But I knew that like that job wasn't my life.
Right.
Cuz I'm like there's no way this can continue.
Well, school isn't going to be your life either. It's a short time in the grand scheme of things.
I know, but it didn't feel
I
like
will
that
say
then,
that I
'cause that's all
learned-
you knew.
I learned a lot about like how to hustle in school. Like I didn't like doing the work, but I knew that I had to get good grades or at least passing grades. So I just figured how to use my personality to get away with not doing any work. So I would early on, like first days of school, I just would charm the shit out of the teachers. Like I would bring them gifts. I would be super thoughtful. I would ask them about their families and ask them questions about themselves. And so the teachers immediately loved me right off the bat. And if it didn't work with a couple teachers who just like were not, they were horribly unpleasant people and didn't have good personalities. So obviously they didn't appreciate my wonderful personality. So fuck them. But and they were my enemies and still my enemies. Mr. Zapata, shout out to you.
Is that an enemy?
He was my enemy.
Mr. Zapata?
Yep.
What did Mr. Zapata teach?
Math. First of all,
That
already
makes
an
sense.
enemy.
Yeah.
Already an
math,
enemy.
The worst.
And he had the worst personality. I mean, he was so bitter. And just like, I don't think I've ever seen the man smile. Why do you teach? Why do you teach kids? Like I couldn't learn anything because he was so unpleasant. He was always in a shitty mood. He was always yelling at everybody.
It's a lot
he
of
was always
teachers.
pissed. No, I had a lot of really great teachers. I found like a lot of them had great senses of humor or were charming.
You know, I had some really good ones.
But Mr. Zapata was just a dick. And he had this really and by the way, everybody hated him. And the years prior, like all historically, he was just like the worst teacher. No one liked him. And he especially hated me. And I never did the work. I never did my homework. I never paid attention in class. I couldn't understand what he was teaching. I just could not. I'm not a math person in general, but I could not understand what this man was teaching me. And so I was like, well, I'm going to have to either cheat. I was just like, I have no other option. I have to cheat because I can't. So I had this friend in my class named Ariella, and she used to take the attendance.
I love that you're like you cheated.
I cheated. What else was I gonna do? I couldn't freaking
not cheat. You could have not cheated.
I couldn't understand.
But you cheat though. We all cheat sometimes.
I couldn't understand what he was teaching me. I couldn't understand. I had a math tutor. I still couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I just like would not even go to class. I would start ditching class.
Well, yeah, I mean you.
And I'll tell. So Ariella used to take attendance, so she would always mark me present in class, even when I wasn't taking class. And she was also really good at math. She was like a total math whiz. And so she felt so bad for me that I couldn't fucking understand what was going on, that she would rotate her paper so that I could see it during the test. And I would just like mark her answers. And he eventually caught me and sent me to the principal's office, the vice principal. And he was
the vice principal's the disciplinarian.
Yeah, he was the disciplinarian.
I think that's pretty school wide.
And then the vice principal loved me. He was my best bud. He was the best. And I remember like
he probably hated Mr. Zapata.
I'm sure he did. He had just, and I remember around this time, he was charmed by me, thought I was a really funny kid. And he just had twin kids. So I came into his office with my slip and I was like, hey, how are your kids? And he was just like so excited to talk about his kids, and he's pulling out pictures of the kids. And he's like, oh wait, why are you in here? I was like, well, I cheated on a test and I'm in trouble. And he was like, all right, whatever. What do you want to do? And so I just like hung out with him. And he's like, is Mr. Zapata expecting me to discipline you? Because I'll just give you. So he gave me some like a worksheet, but like the whole time I was just chatting with him and talking about his kids, and that was a blast. And then so from that point forward, I would just start skipping Mr. Zapata's class entirely. I was like, look, if I fail this class, I fail this class. I'm in 8th grade at this point. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure, my parents will be pissed, but I'm not gonna be a fucking mathematician or whatever. I'm just gonna use a calculator as an adult, okay?
Thanks for joining us on Neurotica. You know, don't forget to share it with a friend, and please leave a review. I mean, you review everything else, right? I mean, it's comment here and comment there. Why not for us?